Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, old time is still a-flying. And that same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. Guys, on that somber note, depressing note, welcome back to the channel. We have here today a third generation Smith & Wesson semi-auto pistol. This is the model 915. As a rule, first generation Smith & Wesson semi-autos had two-digit model numbers like the Model 39 and the Model 59. Model 52 was one of them also, if I recall correctly. The second generation that they made just for a few years in the 80s, sort of early to late 80s, something like that, just a few years. Those had three-digit model numbers like the 459 and the 469. And then they went to four-digit model numbers, the 5906, the 4006, the 1006, the 6906, the 4506, the 5913, that whole series. This is one of those. It's a third gen, but it has a three-digit model number. They made some of these in 9mm Luger and in 40 Smith & Wesson that were budget versions of the guns that had three-digit model numbers. They were never terribly popular. There was the Model 910, the 410. This one's 915. And if you asked me the difference between this and a Model 910, I couldn't tell you. I remember these tended to have sort of cheaper sights on them, and they didn't have really standardized sights. I saw different kind of sight arrangements for these, depending on when they were made, which batch of pistols. The slide contours are a little different. It's clear that they just cranked them out a little bit faster and didn't do as much machining on them, and that's one of the things that made them cheaper. They usually did not have ambi controls. They only had them on one side. Maybe that kept the cost down a little. For the most part, I never saw a big difference between these and the more expensive ones. We have some serrations here, but not really checkering. Kind of an unusual step here on the front of the trigger guard. Sometimes you see checkering on some of these guns from the 90s, but this is just serrations. They didn't bother to checker it, so a little rough here, but very smooth in that direction. These all had a black finish, as far as I can remember, all the budget versions. And this one's very unusual. I don't remember ever seeing an adjustable rear sight on one of these, on one of the budget guns. And moreover, I don't remember ever seeing this type of adjustable rear sight on a Smith ever before at all. I got curious and looked around online. These are available as replacement rear sights for this generation of Smith & Wesson pistols, but I don't know if they ever actually came from the factory like this. The ones you see from the factory have little protective ears or wings on the sides, and those were considered really excellent, some of the best adjustable sights that were ever put on a pistol. A duty pistol, at least, one that's intended for service, not a target pistol. These look more like target sights to me. And I suspect that at some point, because this pistol's probably 30 years old, I suspect that somebody replaced that rear sight. Either the old one got damaged, lost, or he just wanted adjustable sights, and that's probably an aftermarket replacement. I don't know that for sure. We do have two white dots, and then at the front, one white dot. So if you like white dots, be happy with that. We use a very standard Smith & Wesson magazine. It's a 15-round 9mm magazine. It's intended for this third generation. Is this the mag that was original to the pistol? I don't know. A lot of these were shipped with 10-round mags because they were shipped during the ban. But of course, you could acquire a mag from before the ban and put it in this pistol. Or once the ban was over in 2004, somebody might have replaced that 10-round mag with a 15. I don't know the history of this particular pistol. It just came to me, and I've always had a soft spot for these third-generation Smiths, and I've never shot one of these budget guns, and so I thought, yeah, I'm going to try it for sure. This one has an aluminum frame, so if it were the four-digit serial number, that would make it a Model 59, which is the full-size 9mm frame. I don't know. I don't remember all their codes. 5913, I don't remember. They had different codes for different types of trigger and decocker mechanisms, decock only, decocking safety, double action only, single action only, which did at least exist in the custom shop. I don't know if they ever cataloged those. And different frame types and finish types, and so I don't remember all the model numbers, I'm sorry. But this one has a black finish and an aluminum frame, so figure it out. Okay, like all Smith & Wesson first, second, and third gen semi-auto pistols, this one has a magazine safety or a magazine disconnector. Until I put the magazine in, that trigger's dead. Now we have a working trigger, although we don't have a round in the chamber. So Some people like that feature, some hate it. You be the judge on that. Go have a look. It's really not a terrible group that was shooting about 10 yards. A lot of vertical stringing, though. Is that my fault? Is that the pistol's fault? I don't know. And clearly, we're not at point of aim. Okay, I want to thank John for making this pistol available. And John, I'm pretty sure will be okay if I adjust his sights. He won't throw a fit. So I'm going to adjust those and see if I can get them closer to point of aim. Okay, once again, shooting from about 10 yards. I made a couple of small sight adjustments. Couple clicks to the left. I wanted to make several down. Either this side is stuck or that's as far as it adjusts. I don't know. I don't want to try to force it. Frankly, I wasn't able to adjust it very much, and I don't have high hopes here. I would say I was not doing my best shooting there. Let's have a look. So previously we had this vertically strung group. That's new, that's new, that's new, that's new. So, I mean, this is our group. I did not shoot very well. I don't know that we're any closer to the point of aim than we were before. The sights on this pistol are not great. I'm going to say that probably is a replacement rear sight. And it just doesn't seem, in terms of point of impact, doesn't seem to like this ammo. And in terms of group, it doesn't seem to like my poor shooting ability. So shame on you, Smith & Wesson, for not accommodating my lack of skill. Well, what can I say? It's okay. If we had some different ammo, it might shoot closer to point of aim. If we had a better shooter, it would probably shoot better groups. Let's go back to the bench. Let's see, the ammo we're shooting today is this Federal American Eagle, index number AE9DP, I think is what that says, or OP, I can't tell. I looked it up online and now I can't remember, but its print is so small I have trouble reading it. It's just brass case, full metal jacket, 115 grain, just target ammo. It's nothing fancy. The pistol itself has a decent trigger. It's like every other third generation Smith that I fired. It's reliable, obviously. No surprises. It's very controllable. It's pleasant to shoot. I don't like these sights, I can tell you that. I don't like that it doesn't shoot to point of aim. It's fairly light because it's got an aluminum frame. Guys, it's a good one. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's not great. It's not amazing. And depending on what you like, this might rub you the wrong way. I like this one a lot just because I have a soft spot for these third generation Smiths, but you know, depends on what you like. Double action to single action, obviously. Decocking safety, like a Beretta 92 would usually have. This one's got a straight back strap. You do see them with curved back straps. I don't know that they ever did the budget guns curved, but you do see the 59 series with curved back straps sometimes. Smith & Wesson back in the 90s made these in every imaginable configuration because they were trying to get their market share back. They were losing market share to Glock and other companies, especially Glock, and they were trying to throw everything at the wall and see what would stick. What kind of finish do they like? We'll offer different ones. What kind of frame do they want? Aluminum or steel? We'll offer both. Curved backstrap, straight backstrap, single stack mag, double stack mag, compact frame, different barrel lengths, different trigger and decocker configurations, almost everything you can imagine under the sun. If they can make it in that factory in Springfield, they made at least one batch of them and sent them out to see how they would do. And most of them, didn't do that well. Yeah, you would see these on police holsters back in the day, and a lot of people who didn't work for the government bought them and carried them too, and they got some foreign military contracts. I remember seeing one in a soldier, or he's police, tourist police, in a cop's holster in Jordan, of all places, when I was there in the 90s. A really similar pistol. I think his was a 39 series, but whatever. They had sales. They did okay, but they never really got their market share. back from Glock. People didn't like these as much. They didn't like the D8 S8 transition. They didn't always love the double action only design. There was just a lot of stuff they didn't like. It didn't hold quite as much ammo as a Glock. They were more expensive than a Glock, and Glocks are just easy to work on. Like, everybody in your department can become a certified Glock armorer, whereas when this thing fails, you send it to your one armorer for the department, you send it back to Smith, it's harder to work on. It's just more complicated, and everything is more specialized. You need more specialized tools and training. These were good. They were good pistols. They just weren't as good as a Glock for most people, especially for police departments. So Smith & Wesson did not manage to get much of its market share back. I always liked these. In my younger days, I was not that fond of Glock. I like them a lot now. But in my younger days, I was enough of a traditionalist that I wasn't sure about plastic and striker fired. I liked the hammer, and I liked metal. So I like these a lot, and they still work. They're still great pistols, but if you find one at a good price, or if you just have a soft spot for them like I do, yeah, they're still a great choice. But for most people, would I tell you to buy this instead of a Glock or something more modern? No, it works, but you're probably better off with something a little more modern. Oh, in regards to the magazine safety, I guess I should talk about that. Mossad Ayub is a big proponent of the magazine safety, and you do still see some pistols. There are quite a few modern pistols that have magazine safety. High powers have traditionally had them. The Smiths have traditionally had them, and there are lots of these on the market. If you hate magazine safeties, well, probably just avoid this one. And I am not a big fan of magazine safeties, but I don't bitterly hate them either. I'm kind of okay either way. Because this thing won't fire without a magazine in place, a lot of people see that as a problem. A lot of people say, man, if I eject my magazine, I've still got one round in the chamber, I'm reaching for a new mag, and now there's a threat. I'd like to be able to engage that threat with the one round I have. That makes sense. And there are other reasons why you wouldn't want a magazine safety. If I lose my magazine, or maybe it becomes damaged or something like that, now my pistol won't work at all. Whereas if I have a pistol without a magazine safety and I lose my magazine, I've at least got a single shot pistol. It's a lot better than nothing. Mossad Ayub used to be a big proponent of these. I don't hear him talk about it anymore, but in some of his older books, he said, hey, this was back in the days before most states had shell issue laws, said if you keep a pistol at home for defense, but you don't want to walk in and have somebody shoot you with it because he broke in while you weren't home and he's waiting for you there, take the magazine with you. In most states, you can take this with you, and that's fine. Keep it in your pocket. As soon as you get home, put it in the pistol's ready to fire. But if this is the only magazine you have, and presumably if you had others, you'd keep them locked up or something, inaccessible, or take them with you, whatever. If this is the only magazine you have, then if somebody breaks into your home and he wants to shoot you with this pistol, he's out of luck because it doesn't work until you put this in. It's like a key going into a lock. Also useful for keeping unauthorized people like children from operating the firearm. He was a big proponent of these for police because he had, and these are rare instances, but he had documented cases in which police have been saved by magazine safety. A cop loses control of his firearm, somebody else has got it, tries to kill him, but the cop manages to eject the magazine, or the person who took it doesn't understand how it works and ends up ejecting the magazine and can't get the gun to fire. The more complicated it is, the harder it is for an uninitiated person to get it to fire. Whereas he could not find a documented case of a cop who died or otherwise had some difficulty because his pistol wouldn't fire due to a magazine safety when he needed it to. So, and it's easy to think, well, the more complicated this is, the less likely the pistol is to fire when I need it. That's correct. But he could not document an instance in which the pistol failed to fire when needed. He could document instances in which it did not fire when that was handy to have. So he thought that it would net, it would be a net gain to safety, and that it would save police lives. And he did document instances in which that happened. I don't know that I share his opinion, but he at least has sound reasons for them, and I can't argue. I'm not going to say that he's wrong, that those things didn't happen. I believe that they did. I'm just not sure that a magazine safety makes the pistol safer in a net way, that it gains us more than it costs us. I'm kind of good either way. I've had pistols with magazine safeties. I was okay with them. I've had pistols without. Typically, I prefer them without, but whatever. You be the judge on that. Guys, as always, keep your powder dry.